What if, when you bought your house, you could identify all of the things that really served you well so that the house that you buy is fully in alignment with your lifestyle and brings you greater joy? Wouldn't that be great? Well, guess what? Kim Costa, my guest today, she discovered a great way to help homeowners identify what they truly want and need. Today, we're going to talk about vision boards and aligning with yourself, as well as how do you find the perfect home for you. Today, my special guest is Kim Costa. She is a realtor extraordinaire, but she also has this beautiful heart for finding the home that serves you best. And she's developed this really amazing way to help us identify what it is that we actually are truly desiring to connect our home and our lifestyle to find the perfect abode. And I'm just so excited to get to hear, Kim, how this how you got to this point and where what your story is and what your heart is for women and the home, because the home is for my audience and for me, the home is truly where the heart is. So Kim, how long have you been a realtor?
So thank you for having me, Kelly. And I have been a realtor for the past 9 years. And then before that, I was in residential real estate construction, interior design. Um, and so I've been in the industry for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I have a human resource development background and an interior design background, along with marketing and sales and all of that. So that's kind of where, and finance. So that's all those elements came together, because all of those are involved in helping people find the right home and, do the financing for the right home, et cetera. So it just sort of seemed like a great logical step with my background.
So tell us where you are now. So that's it's been a I love how you found this place, that you found like this message, this need, and you're filling it. Tell me about how you got to, you have a book that's coming out. You have all sorts of beautiful resources. So please just take the mic and walk us through what's happening now and what you discovered, how you found this system.
Absolutely. Okay, so it all started. So I changed my entire life in the past, 12 years, I would say. And when I was deciding to do that, I took a personality test because I was an accountant. I was in an accountant role in the design and residential construction industry for over 25 years. And I had a headache every day. And I was just like, I don't want to be in a room crunching numbers anymore. I want to be around the people and I want to be around the designs, that I'm seeing every day. And so I'm a people creative person, and I was in a room crunching numbers, and I wasn't happy. And so I took this personality test, and turns out I'm an ENFP on the Myers-Briggs scale. If you're familiar with that at all, I'm a personality theory geek, for lack of a for lack of a better title. Enthusiast, we'll say. That's a better title. And so once I took that test and found out I was an ENFP, I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder I have a headache in the left side of my brain every day. I'm a right-brained person. And so I started to slowly change not only that aspect of my life, but I was also going through a divorce. Um, Gave up the family business, because one person could only run it, and just proceeded to think to myself, why don't I realign my life with what I've actually wanted to do, which is the creative people stuff. And so that's how I found myself becoming a realtor. So as I changed my life, I had a coach. His name is Dan Johnston. He's based in Prague, although he travels the world. He's also an ENFP, and he coaches other ENFPs how to align their life with, their personality. So that got me thinking of everything I was changing in my life. I also started to move. I moved from a very large home to a townhome, so I didn't have to maintain it. And then I moved to a luxury one-bedroom apartment, and I loved it because I could travel. And so once he had me complete the wheel of life every like quarter. And so as my life changed, those scales of the 8 different areas would go up and down depending on what I was trying to fix at that moment. And
Can
inevitably, yeah.
can you explain the wheel of life real quick?
Okay, yes, the Wheel of Life has 8 areas. So it's a coaching tool that there's on a scale from 1 to 10, it's a big pie and it's split into 8 sections. And those sections are health, spirituality, entertainment, career, finance, friends and family, romance, and environment. And so as I completed that Wheel of Life, I found if something was really off, I was moving. Like I had too much maintenance. And so that's how I ended up into the luxury apartment where I could just decide where I was going to go next and not have a big home to maintain. And so then I became a realtor and I started helping people find homes. And then I started classifying every move or client into, oh, this was a career finance move because careers like at a 2 for them, and finances is they can afford more. They've had uh what do you call a promotion, and now they're earning more money, but they also have to move. And so I was like, that's a career finance move, and this is a health family move. And so I started classifying my clients around the wheel of life as to what the impetus was for their move. And I started thinking this could be a really good process for people to do on their own before they start looking. So that's how it all started.
That's amazing. And so how do you when someone works with you, how do you help them to identify what they need in a home? Because I know when we were home shopping, we said, well, I mean, these 8 houses are available in our price range in our area. This one looks good enough for me.
Yes,
So how do
happens
you
all the
help yeah, how do you help people from making kind of those same mistakes, and then you get in a home and you say, "Oh, man, I didn't realize I needed this instead, and, oh, this is a problem here."
It happens all the time. So, like the statistics say in 2023, over 90% of people had buyer's remorse. And part of that was because they were deciding so quickly. We were all just in a mad dash to find a home and compete with every other buyer out there. The market is changing to a more balanced market. So, hopefully, we can take a little more time and maybe go through this process beforehand so we don't leave a stone unturned. Um, but, I think the biggest thing that I do with my clients, and what I started to do was I started to ask them questions sort of unconsciously or subconsciously about the wheel of life, about like, well, what about y'all's careers? Do you both need an office at home? And so I started asking questions about each area just to make sure we didn't leave anything out. And so I started doing it subconsciously, but now that I've developed the questions even further by using Maslow's hierarchy from like physiological needs up to aesthetics, which a lot of us buy homes based on it has the white quartz countertops, and I love the curb appeal, and that's lovely. And let's hope we can all make decisions based on those things because that means you don't have a lot of the lower needs have been met already, thank goodness. But somewhere in the middle is where people lie, where they're making, maybe a health decision. I ran into a lady at a book writing seminar, and she had bad knees, and she purchased a home because it had a pool for her kids and a good school system, which is lovely. She made the decision based on family, which is lovely, but her health was going to suffer because the primary bedroom was upstairs, and she needed knee replacements. And I was like, well, goodness, we did not address that health area, did we? So just stuff like that. It's just even though you're making a great decision based in one area, you really can't ignore the other 7 areas. So I try to make sure to touch on all those questions. And some of these are very personal questions, which is why I wrote the book, because I'm just a person and I get to know my clients very well, but I don't know everything about them. But the book asks questions in a more personal way that they can then answer them in the privacy of their own current home and maybe talk with their partner and come to some sort of compromise before they go out looking. So hopefully it helps.
And then also because you are only one woman and there are many, many people that you want to help. So a book allows them to then be able to take the things they've learned from you and apply it to their home search in their area.
Exactly. And also any agent out there, once the book is published, they could then purchase a book or two for their clients and give them, even 4 days before they go out looking to say, hey, just read this over, look at the questions, fill out your pie chart, let me know your thoughts before we go looking on Saturday. And that'll then not only prevent the agent from looking at the wrong homes for 8 hours that day and waste everyone's time to no fault of their own. It'll move the process along, but it'll also eliminate any mistakes or things that were missed in one of the 8 areas.
That's beautiful. What a resource for realtors as well as home buyers.
Yes, I can only help a certain number of people here in the Atlanta area, which I love to do, and I help a certain amount of people every year, but then I don't have time to help everybody. So I was like, I need to get this out there and make everybody happier and more satisfied with not only their home but their agent and their actual life, to live exactly how they were made.
Oh, I love that. Do you have a couple stories that you can share of how you've seen this implemented?
Sure. One of my favorite stories is a middle-aged gentleman, divorcee, grown children, having babies elsewhere around the country. Lovely, lovely man, but he was still living, in a family home that he purchased for the kids to get through high school and have some continuity, which is lovely. But he was bored, and all of his neighbors were moving in younger with children. And while he's super friendly, he didn't have as much in common with them, and he had to maintain the yard and the big house. And so that's health, that's family because they had moved away, but that's also like entertainment. Like, what do you like to do for fun and leisure? And this fellow liked to travel. And he also wanted to walk downtown and meet people for dinner without, living out in the suburbs. And so we found him a beautiful, low maintenance home close to a walkable downtown. And it's a lock and leave where he just travels to see his kids and even bought a second home somewhere because it's not as big of a home. So it's like up leveled about 5 areas of his lifestyle.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And
I
so
love to see his travel pictures. I'm like, yay.
that is so fun. I love I was formerly a wedding photographer, and it is so fun to see those connections when you get to like you helping people find their home. It's such a personal
It is very personal.
thing. And then when you
Yes,
can have that relation and you can continue that, and it's just I love how it expands your world and you can still
I
stay in touch with
agree.
people.
And I have to say, part of it too is I am extremely intuitive. Like I just feel other people's feelings. And it's a gift, but also, and I would observe, people's reacting to a home and sometimes partners would react differently and I would sense some angst there, but it's nothing they really wanted to talk about. But I felt it, right? And so I would try to be like, oh, I see that look. They don't like something. I don't know what it is, but I need to figure it out so that someone in this partnership doesn't get stuck in a home they don't really want. Well, the book asks the questions so that they don't have to tell me. They can just decide for themselves and rate that certain area and then what they want, not necessarily what the problem is, but what they want in the future. What's not aligning, what that needs to be fixed, they can just put the solution there without going into it with them to preserve their privacy.
Oh, that's beautiful. And that's so respectful while still being um, in depth about it.
Yeah,
Because,
and caring. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think oftentimes, I mean, just like when you go to buy a new car, when you're buying a home, there's a lot of hesitancy, or there can be hesitancy of like, well, I don't want to get ripped off here. I don't want to have the
right.
wool pulled over my eyes. But if they know, like, oh my gosh, no, I can go ahead and let my guard down and know that she's trying to help serve me to be able to get the best result for what I truly need. And I think
Right.
that really ministers and speaks to people's hearts.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I lived in some lovely, beautiful homes that didn't quite fit me. And so, I mean, they were lovely, just beautiful and gorgeous and wonderful curb appeal. And I mean, who wouldn't be happy there? But the funny thing is I look back at one of the homes I used to own. It was called Clarity Farm. So this is also how this all started. So back in 2001, I was horseback riding there. I'm not a horseback rider. I didn't know how to horseback ride. I just thought it'd be fun to own a horse farm. It's kind of popular where I live. And I'm a golfer. I love my feet on the ground. So lo and behold, I broke my back horseback riding. Broke it. I should not be walking.
Oh my gosh.
So while I was recovering and my friends were helping me get the kids to school and I was in a walker, I started writing again. Okay, I was an accountant and a controller working, from home. And I was like, I just want to start writing again. I was spared. Like I can walk and like there must be a reason. I need to do what I was put here to do. And I felt like it was help people and write. So I wrote the Oprah Winfrey Show and I won the essay contest and then proceeded to tell the Oprah Winfrey Show not to come to my house because because I had a broken back. It was a 40-acre farm. I was like, I can't let millions of people see me, like this. And my house, I just couldn't take care of it the way I wanted to. And it was not in alignment. That particular beautiful, lovely farm was not in alignment with the true me. I'm an extrovert. It was in the middle of nowhere. I'm a golfer. I was riding horses and taking care of six of them. I don't like maintenance. I'm an ENFP. I like very low maintenance. I don't like routine. And so I was my castle was kind of my prison in a way, even though it was beautiful. It didn't fit the real me. And so looking back, it almost, me doing all the wrong things or what I thought people thought I should do almost paralyzed me. And so that was a huge lesson to be you, construct your environment around who you are and up level that so that you can live in your wheelhouse, which is the highest level and helping other people.
Oh my gosh.
I know,
Wow.
what a lesson to learn, right?
Oh, but like, yeah, so perfect. And I love, so tell me about your writing. Is that something you said that that was a passion that you re-identified? Is that something that has been with you since a girlhood, or when did that
Yes.
begin?
Because I had three older brothers and I love them dearly. But, I was sort of a girly, sensitive child, but I turned into a tomboy just to fit in. But I still would write and draw pictures of flowers but I would hide them in my desk in my room because you know, with three older brothers, they play pranks and things like that, which is funny, but it was like very personal. So I would always hide my writing. So in third grade, I wrote a really funny story. I remember it to this day about my three older, well, you didn't know to the end that it was a surprise person writing me notes in the story and they would leave them around my little neighborhood in Pennsylvania. And the last one was a note on the telephone pole near the neighborhood pond, which we would all go and catch frogs and skate. And the last note ended up being a surprise from my three brothers, So it was like a surprise ending. And I like really thought it was clever. Well, the third grade teacher read my story she'd never done this, stopped the whole class and read my story to the whole class. And at the end, with the surprise ending, everyone gasped. And I was a quiet kid and looked at me. And I was like, oh, wow, this is like almost embarrassing. So I remember being praised for my writing, but it was also very personal to me. So I did not know she was going to read that, out loud. So now I was like, I need to just embrace it. I need to put my stories out there. And when I did, the Oprah show picked me, so I must be okay. But then I told him not to come. I ruined everything.
No, but I mean, but didn't that bring you to the realization, oh my gosh, I am not in alignment. If I can't even
Big time.
embrace this incredible dream of
Yes.
having the Oprah Winfrey show come to my house
Yes.
because I am so out of alignment,
Mhm.
isn't that what you needed?
It is exactly what I needed. And I found that the longer I prolonged writing, and it may be something different for someone else. It could be art, or it could be working with children, or, whatever they want to do, whatever they feel called to do, whatever they like to do when they were like 10 years old. Um, it became very apparent that the longer I delayed my writing, it's almost like the world was scheming to make things harder for me. And until I really started writing and and my husband said to me recently, you just seem so happy. you know? And I just think it brings more joy when you're doing what you're meant to do and working in your skills and what I call myself, the four M's, myself, mastery, mission, and mate. So it's finding who you truly are, mastering a skill you were innately given, finding a mission to share that with other people and help them. And then mates are who you surround yourself with that see you and also support what you're trying to do. So that's the 4M foundation.
I love that. Now, I also saw on on the work that you're putting out there that you also have vision board work that you do.
I
Is that
do. I love
because
a vision board.
oh, talk to me about it, girl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hosting a little master class on vision boards because I've
Gosh.
developed something that's been working for me, but I want to hear
Oh,
more
I want to
because
come.
we can all yes, it's
I
free.
need
I'll
to
put
make a
the
new
link.
one.
Yeah.
Almost everything's come true from the one I did. I don't know, it was like 8 years ago, 6 years ago. And the home I'm living in now, I put a cottage on my vision board and had driven through this lovely little neighborhood that I live in. And then my now husband bought in here. And when I first came to the house, I was like, I love this house. And then years later, we got married, and I was like, I drove through this neighborhood before you even lived in here, and this was like the model of the house that I wanted. Isn't that funny?
No, it's just perfect is what it
Isn't
is. That it's it I'm what you blah blah blah. I've been
it?
experiencing this as well of when we do get aligned, how everything
Falls into place.
yes, how it opens up and I feel like we've been I just know that we have been taught that we have to struggle, we have to push, we have to
And
scrap and
force things.
scrounge. And and so we're doing that in our masculine, we're charging ahead and I'm sure you have also, as I have, watched all the different videos of, and they're mainly taught by guys, and they tell you how you just gotta push through and you gotta grind, and it's like, wow, really? Because that
Doesn't feel
feels like
right.
no, it doesn't feel great at all. And then to learn more about how do I operate in my feminine and how
Mm-hmm.
that is about receiving and
Receiving.
being, oh my goodness, and how that's so backward from what we're taught. Like, wait, I'm supposed to just like, I'm supposed to be okay and be happy and be at peace and be filled with love. And then, oh my gosh, things just come to me.
They do.
Wha- Yeah. So tell me
They do.
more and then tell me about your vision board or like what works for you.
Yes, well, so I'm a little old school. In my other room, it's my Zen room across from here. This is my creative room, and then my Zen room's across the hall. I have about, oh gosh, probably 50 magazines. So I still like the old school way. And so I actually take my wheelhouse and I look at each area and think of things like career, romance. On my old vision board, and I just put a little, and then came you to invite in whatever was supposed to be and right next to that little cottage. And so I just kind of put the wheelhouse in front of me, and then I start clipping out photos from magazines like Health. Maybe there's someone walking on the beach or doing yoga, things that I like to do just to bring that level of health in. Um, so yeah, I'm due for another vision board though.
Fantastic. Oh, it would be so fun to have you on and then you could like pipe in and we could share. Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be super fun. We can collaborate. I love it.
But yeah, I love how when we put our intention out there and then we're able to so that for me is what really helped make vision boards so so much more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And then one thing I really want to identify is that where am I putting shoulds on there? Take them off. Shoulds are not comfortable. They don't feel good. They are filled with guilt. But when we say, okay, like right now, I know I should be getting in the gym and doing weightlifting. I should. Do I want to? Heck no, I don't at all. So I get to find a way that it brings me joy. How could I make this fun? Because I know that I want to create a habit in this, but the way that I've been doing it before does not inspire me and is not
Mm-hmm.
going to make me joyful to get in and do it. So being able to reframe the way that we think and say, okay, how can this be more fun? And that playfulness is a really big thing that I've been working with right now or playing with. And how can I insert that more into my life as opposed to having the shoulds rule me and make me feel bogged down by stuff. No, life should be light and playful, and how, when we're creating these vision boards with our intention, how we can focus that. So I I just love how you have manifested so much, and how so I'm you're also hosting a show. You also There are so many other things that are on your plate and on the horizon. Tell me about that, and then I want to hear your heart for where you're going.
Oh, great. Thank you. I am starting a podcast. It'll be the same title as the book, which is Live in Your Wheelhouse. The wheelhouse is two words. And the way have people remember that is we're talking about your living space, and there's a space between the wheel and the house. Because I didn't want people to get it confused with the human resource, all the other definitions. So it's Live in Your Wheelhouse. The book is coming out in March, and the podcast will start in about 2 weeks. I've recorded the trailer and I'm recording my first episodes right now. So I'm excited about that. At first, it'll be some solo episodes for me to explain the process, because the book's not coming out for a little bit and I want people to know about it. And then I'll start to interview people in each of the 8 areas I'm a generalist. That's also my personality. I know a little about a lot. And so I can point you in the right direction to a specialist in finance or whatever you need, romance, whatever you need. But I want to have experts on to talk about how you up level each area in your home for you personally. And so that'll be really fun. Um, other than that, I'm just getting the message out there in a couple of different ways, speaking a little bit. And so what's next for me is working on some speeches and some workshops for people to come run through the process with me personally before they go out looking with their local agent.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love that. So you're going to do that in person, as well as, will you have virtual?
I will do most of those workshops virtually, but I would love to do some retreats in like cool places. San Diego, the South Carolina shore is my favorite. Boston, like just kind of go to different regions and hold a retreat in a special place, especially if it has a great like a niche of a certain style of home. Like Nantucket has a certain style of home, and the South Carolina shore has a certain type of home. So it would be great to do like a little home tour, as well as like, this is how people live around here. And whoever is interested in just going through the process for them, come and we'll have a little fun too.
I love that.
Mm.
That's such a personal touch, especially since you can't be there in their market, but you can help them utilize their market so much more fully.
Right. Yeah. And then their local expert knows where to find the closest thing to what they need.
Oh, I love it. It's so inspiring seeing you blend your talents with your heart, just like you were saying, your 4 M's. I
Mm.
love that. Say it for us again, the 4 M's.
Sure. Okay, so it's myself, like who I am, not necessarily your ego and what you think you should be doing. Again, the shoulds. So get rid of the shoulds and do what you were made to do. And so once you figure out, maybe you take a personality test or just remember what you like to do when you were little, and then you master that. So I've been mastering my writing as an example. And then you are on a mission to use that gift to help other people. So hopefully that'll happen with Live in Your Wheelhouse. And then mates, you surround yourself with people who see the real you and support what you're doing.
With those 4 M's, can you touch a little bit on what you found were powerful resources to be able to identify those things? Like, how do I find myself? Especially like how you were saying, like, I found myself being completely out of alignment. And I think
Mhm.
so many of us, we're given this path from childhood of, these are the things we're supposed to do to be a productive, successful human being.
Mhm.
And so we follow this path, but we're never, hardly any of us actually are in alignment. So
Mhm.
let's start with the first M. How do you find that?
For me, and again, I am a personality type enthusiast, I'll say. And I have a lot of master's work in that back in the early 90s. And I even took the personality test and they told me you shouldn't be doing accounting, but I really needed to for a while in a family business. So that's what I did. But I just, So when I got a chance, I was like, I need to go back and revisit that. I know I'm not doing the right thing. So I'm a fan of the Myers-Briggs personality, the Myers-Briggs type indicator, MBTI. I'm also a new fan of the Enneagram, which is I love the Enneagram. And I'm a type 7 on the Enneagram. And so that tells me a lot about, being a free spirit and all that kind of a thing. But I also know that I need structure, to be that free spirit. So I think identifying your personality type, and my favorite again are the MBTI and Enneagram, and then from there going on to mastery. So you just kind of read a little bit about your personality type, and like my people in my personality type were like Mark Twain, hello, a writer, Robin Williams, many other like writers and performers and half introverted, half extroverted type people. So I was like, okay, I need to really investigate, how they live their lives. And then you master something that your personality traits have been given. I mean, there are plenty of people who are extremely logical and write lists, and the engineers and the real great accountants in our world. And so they hopefully have, because doing what they're good at hopefully brings them joy. And so that's the mastery part. And then mission kind of appears to me once you figure out the first two. And then mates is just a matter of aligning with the people who have supported you or meeting new people if the current people you're with don't support you. You can make some changes there, to align and bring people, especially into your home, that support you. It's very important that you treat your home as sort of a respite in that way.
That is so wise. That reminds me of mothers that are transitioning from a corporate life, or they're starting a homeschooling adventure. And so if you surround yourself with other, say you're homeschooling and all of your friends are all public schooling,
Mhm.
you are going to feel pretty isolated, pretty alone, even within your friendships. And so by investing in, I need to find some other homeschool moms, or I need to find some other stay-at-home moms to help me figure out and support this
Yeah.
journey that I feel really called to be on right now.
Absolutely. I mean, because again, that boils down to values and life choices. And so, not that you can't have friends outside of that. I think that's actually important to be accepting of people's different lifestyles, but to have that support, because you don't have to explain a lot of things to them, like having them full time, and then getting them around other children. I would imagine you would have some other folks that would also want to be doing the same things, and then they become your partners in success.
Yeah, and I find when you do that, that can help you in finding your mission as
Mm.
well, when you are being surrounded by people that you're in alignment with. And agree with you as well. Diversity is fantastic, as far as like, just because someone decides to move their life in a certain direction, you don't have to leave everybody behind. But
Right.
yeah, but being able to, like, where am I? I just really want to be support. I want to make sure that I'm supported. And I know that echoes back to times in my life where I did not understand the value of creating a support system, and my gosh, did I flounder.
Yeah.
And if I'd only thought about that and said, It's okay if you are going to like take a different path, that but make sure that you find those people that can support you on this new journey." And
I
so just,
agree.
yeah, an encouragement to women that have, if you are wanting to transition into something different, that's fantastic. And let's make sure that you get the women that you need around you,
I
so that,
agree.
yeah, you can be supported in that. So how did you, because so far I haven't heard anything mention about being on camera, and yet TV host, talk to me about that.
Oh
That sounds
gosh.
fun.
Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. I'm shooting my first episode of American Dream TV on Friday, and I'm very excited. I've got the script all written for my two places, some local establishments here in and around Crabapple, Georgia, which is where Milton, Alpharetta, and Roswell meet, and that's where I live. Um, So it's about lifestyle stories in communities where people help other people and they provide some type of business or service or just general lifestyle stories of positive living.
And don't we need more of those?
We do.
So this was a dream of yours. So this is all coming from you?
No, actually, so there are many hosts across the nation,
Oh, okay,
but
that's
I'm
right.
just going to be hosting in my local area to tell people about what it's like to live here and then picking out people in the community that make people's lives better. For example, the first place I'm going to visit is a local grill called Eggs Up Grill, and Patrick, the owner, has a lovely family, and the sons come in and help. It's adorable. And it's a place where, there's like you go before your ball game or after church or a men's group or a big family is sitting at the table, and it's just got a real community feel to it. And they're big on smiles. The smiles are free and the coffee's hot, and it's just a lovely little place. So that's where I'm starting, and then I'm going next to a place called the Art Barn, which teaches children about animals and the environment and things like that. So it's both giving back to the community.
Oh, that's so beautiful. How
It'll be
cool to
fun.
get on that. That
I
is
know, I'm
so
so excited.
neat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see how this opens up various avenues for you as well and what it inspires you for future endeavors.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited. And it's been so great to meet lovely people like you that were, aligned in what we're trying to do.
Oh. And then before we go, I want to talk just a touch about again how you identified, okay, I found myself, I know who I am. I identified something that I want to master, which is writing, something that's given you joy and delight in that time. What are ways, how were you it sounds like you've just been so brave in going forward and saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this crazy thing called being a writer.
Mhm.
I'm going to put my heart into it. What are tell me some a little bit of that journey and some of the resources that you found, and maybe some of the bumps too.
Sure. Sure. Well, I think so the resources, we'll start there. I had a good coach that affirmed that you, with your personality, you could potentially be good like all these other writers. And so I was like, okay, well, that's affirming. That's good. I'm on the right path. I was not a horrible accountant, but I did not love it. So, and then I'm just trying to think other resources, just like stories of other women, especially who have sort of reinvented themselves midlife. Um, and then, finding the people like me who were thinking, I'm not done yet. I have another, hopefully 30 good years to go where this will be the third part of my life. And it's been the first 30 were great, the second 30 were great, and now I've kind of outgrown some things, and I need to really finish out the way that I was made. And I think one of the struggles though was I want to be a writer, but I don't want to be a starving artist. And so I mean that's on the finance part of the wheel, that was not going to work. So I had to figure out a way to um be able to write, but also to keep doing real estate, which I do love. And so it just kind of all worked out so that I could continue to do real estate and help people there, but also write and tell more lifestyle stories, which I love. Yeah.
That's
But
beautiful. So did you create a writing habit? How did you get in yeah.
I did. And again, I'm an ENFP, so I don't like routine, but I did try to sit down at some point every day, or at least several days during the week. And sometimes, for example, yesterday, I think I wrote and edited for about 8 hours. And so today, this afternoon, I'm going to do some more writing, but I need to get out of the house because my little extroverted side needs filling. So I'm going to go find a little cafe where I'm around other people, and then I can do the writing. So you just kind of have to figure out how your brain and your personality work best.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Is there anything else that you want to anything we didn't cover that you want to bring home?
Gosh, I don't think so. I think if people want to find me, I'm at Kim E Costa on all the socials. And my website is Lifestyle Foundations if you want to know more about the Live in Your Wheelhouse process. But other than that, I think it's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you. I will have all those linked in the show notes so everyone will be able to find, as well as I will put links for free Myers-Briggs testing and Enneagram testing, so you gals can explore that and just get to know yourself better and identify it, because this will come in really handy when we do the vision board class, which is on November 16th, Sunday, from 3 to 4:30 Central Time. So, thank you so much, Kim. And what a delight, and how inspiring to get to have to rethink the home buying process from such a practical and like nourishing perspective. So,
Mm,
I'm so excited for your book to come out and to help so many people be able to live in the home that serves them best.
I agree. And I can't wait for your vision board. I'm going to put that on my calendar because I
All
need
right.
a new one.
I will send you a link. Thank you so much, Kim.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.